I see the fear and confusion in messages every single day. People read something online about losing their green card or citizenship and immediately assume the worst. So let's slow this down and separate rumor from reality in a calm, factual way. First, take a deep breath. U.S. citizenship is one of the most legally protected statuses in American law. Once someone becomes a U.S. citizen, losing that citizenship is extremely rare and happens only under very specific circumstances defined by federal statute and court precedent. It is not something that happens accidentally. It is not something that changes overnight because of a headline or a viral post. Now, let's walk through the actual legal circumstances under which U.S. citizenship can be revoked or relinquished under current law. This is general educational information, not personalized legal advice. If you have specific concerns about your situation, you should consult a licensed immigration attorney and verify current guidance on official government websites such as uscis.gov or justice.gov. 1. Denaturalization for fraud or willful misrepresentation. The most commonly discussed ground is denaturalization for fraud during the naturalization process. If someone obtained U.S. citizenship by intentionally lying, hiding material facts, or committing fraud during the immigration process, the government can file a lawsuit in federal court to revoke that citizenship. This is not an administrative cancellation. It requires a formal lawsuit in federal court. The individual has the right to an attorney, the right to present evidence, and the right to defend themselves. A federal judge must determine that the government has met its burden of proof. Material misrepresentation means a lie about something important that would have affected eligibility for citizenship. Examples could include concealing a serious criminal history, using a false identity, submitting fraudulent documents, lying about marital status to obtain immigration benefits. Minor mistakes or typographical errors are not the same as intentional fraud. The standard is high, and denaturalization cases remain a small fraction compared to the millions of naturalized citizens in the United States. 2. Voluntary renunciation. Citizenship can also be lost voluntarily. A U.S. citizen may choose to renounce citizenship by appearing in person at a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad and formally signing documents stating that they intend to relinquish U.S. citizenship. This must be voluntary and informed. The government cannot force someone to renounce. The process is serious and permanent, and it may have tax and immigration consequences. If you see claims that a new rule will force people to renounce their citizenship automatically, that is not how current law works. 3. Treason or acts against the United States. The Immigration and Nationality Act lists certain acts that can result in loss of citizenship, such as conviction of treason, attempting to overthrow the U.S. government by force, serving in the armed forces of a country engaged in hostilities against the United States. Even in these situations, loss of citizenship is not automatic. Courts have consistently required proof that the individual intended to relinquish U.S. citizenship through those actions. These cases are extremely rare. Political speech, criticism of the government, or peaceful protest are protected under the First Amendment and do not result in loss of citizenship. 4. Serving in a foreign government or military with intent to relinquish serving in certain foreign government positions or military roles can potentially be treated as an act of expatriation. However, courts have made clear that intent matters. The government must show that the person intended to give up U.S. citizenship. Simply holding dual citizenship, working abroad, or serving in a foreign military, especially in an allied country, does not automatically strip someone of U.S. citizenship. 5. Concealed serious crimes committed before naturalization. If someone committed certain serious crimes before becoming a citizen and intentionally failed to disclose them during naturalization, that could form the basis for denaturalization. This ties back to fraud or willful misrepresentation. This is why honesty on immigration applications is critical. If there is any criminal history, even old or seemingly minor, it is always better to disclose it properly with legal guidance than to hide it. Now let's talk about green card holders. Lawful permanent residents do not have the same protections as U.S. citizens. A green card can be lost under various circumstances, including certain criminal convictions, abandonment of residence by living abroad too long, fraud in obtaining permanent residence, failure to file required taxes as a resident. This is one reason many eligible permanent residents choose to naturalize when they qualify. U.S. citizenship provides stronger legal protections, including protection from deportation. It is also important to address common misinformation. No, the government cannot revoke citizenship because of your political views, religion, or country of origin. No, proposed legislation is not the same as enacted law. Bills must pass Congress and be signed into law before they change legal standards. No, executive orders cannot override constitutional protections or the due process required for denaturalization. So, what should you actually do? If you obtained your citizenship honestly and disclosed all required information, there is no reason to panic. The vast majority of naturalized citizens will never face denaturalization proceedings. If you are currently applying for a green card or citizenship, be truthful and thorough in every application. If you are unsure about something, consult an immigration attorney before filing. If you are a permanent resident and eligible to naturalize, consider speaking with a qualified attorney about the benefits and timing of applying. Keep copies of all your immigration documents in a safe place. Verify information through official government sources. Be cautious about viral posts or forwarded messages that create unnecessary fear. Immigration law can feel overwhelming, especially when headlines are dramatic. But the legal system includes due process protections, federal court review, and constitutional safeguards. Staying informed with accurate information, not reacting to rumors, is the most effective way to protect yourself and your family. Always consult a licensed immigration attorney for advice tailored to your specific situation.